right. Candid Talk Radio. It is I, your host once again, Brother Chris. Johnny, which means the truth. That's all I'm going to bring. The butt naked truth. Shout out to Chris Pugh, Dion, Tasha, all of the fellow hosts and co-hosts here. I want to say good evening all across the nation, here in Chicago, all of my people everywhere. Windy City Cigars, Hyde Park Cigars, all the cigars places in the land that have seen me, dealt with me, have poofed with me. Good evening. First and foremost, I want to give high honor or high praise to the God that I serve. None of this would be possible. I give high honor to Brother Earl, who gives me a platform to do what I can do, and all of his help and his team here on the west side of Chicago. As you see, the rain is in the background because it's raining outside. We're not playing no games. Uh-oh, they say they can't hear. But let me cut my rain off then, since you can't hear. It's not that you can't hear here. You can't hear my rain. You can hear through my rain. So let me cut this rain off because I don't have to have that. Hold on a minute because I don't want any of y'all upset at me. All right, here we go. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me now? Tell me if you can hear me now. Okay, I cut my sound effect off. I'm sorry, y'all. Not to the nation, but on my phone, I was being cute. I had rain coming down because it was raining out. That wasn't working. I'm looking like a fool out here. Hopefully, y'all can hear me now. Okay, Greeno, y'all can hear me now. All right, everything is all good. Back to the regularly scheduled program. I want to give shout out to my sponsors, E.W. Callahan Funeral Services, where if you are in pain, it's okay because death is my gain. Three Chefs Restaurant with Wallace Effort, one of the coldest chefs in the city of Chicago. I'm telling you, I'm just waiting on them to open back up. 79th and the Dan Ryan. And Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, because everybody got to get their sip on. Well, my topic for today, I had a few topics, but what I wanted to deal with was the relationship between blacks and Jews. I want to get it real serious. I basically want to talk about this apology that one LeBron James was not necessarily asked to make, but he made it because there was some hoopla between a song, some lyrics that he placed on his Twitter behind 21 Savage and what he said in reference to us making this Jew money. Well, you have to be very careful when you're speaking about what anti-Semitism is. Because number one, we are Semitic people. See, this is one of those nights where I'm not playing any games with y'all. I know y'all probably thought I was just some old brown face and I knew a few things, but I'm blacker than the sole of a kiss boot, and I'm getting ready to give it to you right now. Black people, as they're called, North African people, are Semitic people. If you don't believe me, ask the white man, which means look in the dictionary. Semitic people are us. That's right, us. And you're speaking about anti-Semitic. So if I'm anti-us, then what does that make me? We're not going to say that. We're not going to speak foolishness. People who are anti-Semitic really is anyone that the Jews don't like. See, being a Jew is a practice. That's not a people. That's a practice. All of you who are circumcised makes you a Jew. The cutting of your foreskin of your organ, that practice of circumcision makes you a Jew. Not something that you can claim. You know, Sammy Davis Jr. claimed Jew all the way up until he got sick. Then he came back home and he said, I am an African-American man. But he made his paper portraying of being a black Jew. There's no such thing, just like there's no such thing as a black Greek. What is that? Greeks don't look like us. Greeks from Europe, but that's a whole nother ball game. Uh, so let's be very clear about something. There's a secret relationship between blacks and Jews. There's also a volume 1 and volume 2 book behind that was published by the Nation of Islam. It was not written by the Nation of Islam. It was published by the Nation of Islam, which means that they put it out. All of the information, I said all, four L's, that means everything, all of the content that comes in that book came from the historical public records of Jews themselves. So now you're talking about all of the world banks, you're talking about Chase, you're talking about a lot of the plantations, slavery owners, all of these things out here that are owned by them that were built off of the backs of us, and therefore they got paid. Many of you miss those things, that I've spoken on it before when Chris Rock spoke on the movie, when he had Hair, when he spoke on the movie Hair, about being wealthy and his comedy routine, when he spoke about who was wealthy and rich. There's a difference between being wealthy and rich. The people who own the color blue are wealthy. The people who make blue crayons are rich. He said if Oprah woke up, if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's money, would he kill himself? He would lose his mind if he woke up with Oprah's money. See, there's the people who pay Shaquille O'Neal are wealthy. See, Mark Cuban is wealthy, but people who play for the Dallas Mavericks are rich. There's a difference. And some of you understand, some of you may not, but that's okay. Let's deal with this apology. I am unapologetic about the zeal and the zealousness that I have for many things. One thing that I do not like is when you try to buffalo us when we are in entertainment. I don't know one man or woman who looks like us that America, when I mean America, I mean the powers that be, which is basically the Jews, who have killed off someone for the wealth that they have mentally. Michael Jackson all of a sudden, Prince all of a sudden, uh, Don Cornelius, I'll even say. It's a lot of us. Look at the black wealth in this country, and the people who've, you notice that every time we do something or we get so-called well off, they always send Becky at us, or something goes wrong to where we go downhill. I mean, I'll always say it forever and a day. Bill Cosby was a very influential individual in my life growing up. What he chose to do in his personal life wasn't my business. I'm talking about what he did on the television that helped me and mold me in a whole lot of things. And I'm not even talking about all white men, all black men, whatever. It's a lot of good in everyone. So what I'm dealing with is this apology. I've never felt like I have to apologize for something that comes from my heart, or for something that someone else said that I agreed with. See, you can have a lot of, you can put, no one makes you apologize for pressing a like button. Oh, you like what he said? I think you need to apologize. But because he's LeBron James and he spoke up on something when he said that a lot of the NBA team, no, NFL teams, NFL owners run their organizations like slave plantations. And it's all in an uproar because basically that's the truth. Shut up and dribble is what they told him. Just play ball. You're going to do what I say. See, when we look at the entertainment world, especially basketball, football, and everything else, instead of you getting a little extra hay to sleep on, you get a lot more money to do what you need to do in your lives. But if you don't do what we tell you to do, then we'll take your livelihood from you. See, it's a very difficult thing for me. Uh, I was raised by six women, my dad and my uncle, and so I've seen various things. And I'd use a little humor with it. Will you hit a? No, I'll never hit a woman, but I'll choke her till she dizzy. No, I'll never hit a woman. I don't have any. I don't have any level that I'll get to that where I'm gonna bust on her head. No, that's not gonna happen because I already know she has an L. Here's where my problem comes in at. I was posting something recently, and it was about a manager who he put this woman out, and he was telling her this, that, and other, but she was talking to him like he was just nothing, talking to her like she was just nothing. And so she spit on him. And so he gave her a two-piece with no biscuit, no dressing, nothing, and knocked her out. First words I heard from a female, oh, they're putting your hands on a woman. Well, why is it that we don't ever have any accountability for when a woman does something? How is that such a far-fetched thing that you can't hold yourself or the women around you? It's 5 or 6 women. I remember the 8-ball jacket brother on the train who was on the train. They just clowning him and talking about his jacket, that competition thing, that classism, you wearing old clothes, you doing this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And you clowned him, and then you got to talking crazy, got all up in his face. And I want to say she spit on him, or no, she slapped him, and he gave her a two-piece. And now all of a sudden it turned into something else. Yeah, I do, brother. I do, brother Fred. I've heard that before. And so it always turns into, is there a reason for you to put your hands on a woman? No. I understand everyone has a certain level. And this is what I spoke on before, because this is me. I told a woman once that had I been what you're used to, or had I been the type of guy that you had in the past, and if I was any different kind of man, I would kick you down these stairs. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart. But I know me, and I know what type of standard that I have. I know what type of uh, brand that I represent, not from what I belong to. I'm speaking about from my name. See, even though my name belongs to a slave owner, my father was a hell of a dude, and I would never want to put any badness on his name. And so my mother trained me to be a certain way. And I've always been that way, but I always tell a woman, I'm just like a rattlesnake. You know, I I'm I warn you. And if you hear the rattler going, uh, you need to heed it. You need to heed it. My tolerance level has gotten a lot larger because I've gotten older, and many of us over 40, we tend to do things a lot differently over time because we have a different level of understanding. But it bothered me to hear uh, this apology, because it seems like every time you say something that Jews don't like, you have to apologize. Well, damn it, when are y'all going to say any type of apology for the things that you're doing to us that we don't like? I mean, you're always telling Black people to get over it, or it was the past. But I have yet to see anyone let this Holocaust go. See, we have more than 5 million in the Atlantic Ocean that didn't even make it over here. There's a movie about us. I want to say it's called Sankofa or Sonovka. I can't remember the name, but it's about us and the Holocaust. And it seems like all of these different movies that come out about us, uh, it always wants to depict us as being saved by the white man. Everything is about us being saved by the white man. I mean, we almost think that that's what it is with what happened with welfare. But see, you can't on one hand say that we're 13% of this country, and then on the next hand say that we abuse the welfare system when welfare was originally created for white America. The trailer trash, as they call it, the poor and downtrodden, and you put us in different places. You throw us in you wanted to make our hero the dope peddler, the dope user, the pimp, the prostitute, and the things that weren't of any type of sustentation for us. Yes, it was Sankofa. That's what I thought it was. And I still want to see that movie. But here's where my problem lies again. When are you going to apologize to for us? I've never heard any of the Jews tell Clinton he got to apologize for what he said. At what part did he say anything wrong? Did you ever notice that anything that goes into music, when Michael Jackson said, "Jew me, sue me," in his song, "They Don't Really Care About Us," they made him change those lyrics. If he didn't change the lyrics, they blacked it out. Just like when you hear the lyric of "stack chips like Hebrews," that's blotted out when it's played. You ever notice that a female can say bitch once or twice on television? And you can say nigga all night, but you can't say anything about anyone else. See, it was cute when Norman Lear had it out with the Jeffersons and uh, Carol O'Connor and Wheezy and in their shows, and not Wheezy, Wheezy and Carol O'Connor and uh, how am I getting a blank on this show? But we all grew up on it, and nigga was a open word back in the early '70s. But we're dealing with a situation now where it's getting so bad that we have such a low tolerance for things now. You say something, you do something, it's almost to the point where you're scared to get in a relationship, especially if you have some type of currency. Uh, she's either going to pimp a baby up out of you, and now she want to leave, or you laying in the bed. I mean, no one held that woman accountable who was laying in the bed with Ezekiel Elliott while he was resting, and she took a picture of him. I don't mind pictures of me, but don't take a picture of me in my slumber. That's disrespectful. I've openly said before, I don't apologize for anything that I say because I can stand alone. I don't have any issues with that. What I have a problem with is when you want to buffalo me into accepting something. You know, I find it extremely disrespectful when you want to impersonate someone that you're not. Well, then you want to say I'm a hater, or you want to say I'm a homophobe. Well, as I said before, it's not in the new DSM and it's not in the old one. So homophobic is not even a word. It's something made up to make you comfortable. And I will always make you uncomfortable when I tell the truth. If I came to you and I was impersonating a lawyer, you're not receiving that. I said I can cut that boil off of you, or I can cut that cancer out of you. And I was impersonating a doctor, you're not going for that. If I was impersonating a hairdresser, you're not going for that. If I was impersonating a man, that's probably the only thing you'll go for, because many of you go for that now. You're dealing with boys. That's why you keep calling them your boyfriend. And you never look those words up. Boy and friend. Boy is an adolescent. And if that's what you have in your life, that's why you don't have a man. So we're speaking about an apology. You should never apologize for something that you feel to be true, for when it comes from the heart. If you can be bought off, I've always said I never respect anyone with a vision, because most people with a vision can be bought off. And when you can be bought off, you can't be trusted. If you have a goal, that means you have a focus. 6ix9ine. If you have a goal, then you have a focus. And having that focus, that means you're determined. It's called fortitude. You have a plan A. You didn't make a plan B. We always make plan Bs. You should have a plan B in case that don't work out. See, that's causing doubt in your mind right there. Why do you have people around you who have who place doubt on something that you're doing? That's crazy. Why do you have people around you who don't support what it is that you want to do? I was sitting up talking to Denard today, Denard Newell. He's running for alderman, 20th Ward. Vote for him. And I remember, this discussion was, dealing with hot dog stand. And I thought of, I was listening to his numbers, and I remember what money I made when I was a youngster back in '85. And then I thought about it now when he was saying it. I said, wait a minute. If you have a hot dog stand and you just sit up and do the numbers, see, men and women lie, numbers don't. If you just do the numbers, you can generate a nasty piece of paper if you just do the numbers. And I thought about that. A hot dog stand is something that you could have all year round. In the summertime, you could add snowballs and just keep it real simple. But one of the things that we spoke on is selling hot dogs on a hot dog stand is beneath many people. See, we're at a day and time now. We're at a day and time now where status is something. A guy said to me, he said, man, you always wearing that black hat. I said, brother, you've never seen me in this hat. Oh, yeah, I did. I said, no, you saw me in a different kind of hat that was black. I said, you saw me in a Dob one day. I said, the hat I have on now is a fedora. The hat you saw me in before was smaller. And it was a Dob. I said, but it was smaller. I said, but are you watching me or are you just nosy? He didn't know how to take that. I said, you gave a complaint. You didn't give some credit. So be very careful when you hold conversations with people, because you never know what their intentions are. People can tell you a lot about them just by the conversation and communications that they hold with you. But we were talking about this hot dog stand, and he put some on. I was like, it's a lot of different things I want to do. I want to start doing this. I want to start doing that. I should do this again. Man, I had this skill. I had that skill. But then I thought about it. I said, I could get back into doing the hot dogs again. Because the brother on 63rd in Chicago and Halsted I know he's making a killing. But there are enough events out here to get the food sanitation license and get the hot dog stand. And that is a nice piece of money to do it a daily job. But at any rate, now I want to deal with something else. I had a situation, not a situation. It's something that I need to touch on because it's bothered me, and I allowed it to bother me because it was a distraction, and it was only a distraction because I didn't wake up with something else better to do. But see, my character and my integrity means something to me, and when I help people, and I'm in someone's corner, I don't do it for gain. I do it because I know that someone else isn't there. And one of the things that happens with our youth is that there are not a lot of fathers, not a lot of black male figures around. And I I coached and assistant coached girls softball at Simeon High School in Chicago. Um, I had a lot of students who referred to me as dad, as a lot of other guys there, the guys, uncle, what have you. But I had a particular students that were troubled, and I looked out for them, not monetarily, just mentally, and they played for me, and it was their effort. I wasn't one of those coaches that if you were not the top shelf, then you couldn't play for me. You wanted to play, you could play. We had a student that the kids called her can't get right because she just couldn't get it right. But she played and she did what she did. She did what she could. Uh, I had one student I called her Mary Poppins because those, if you remember the movie Mary Poppins, those are the shoes she had on as a freshman. And I watched her grow into a woman. She blossomed. I called her Dandelion after that, but I always call her Mary Poppins when I see her in the street. But she I watched the determination on her face sometimes when I would hit balls to her and she couldn't get the technique together, and she would make a bad throw or miss the ball. But she was determined. She refused to get it right. And it was a testament because she was basically an honor student most of her life. She was used to getting it right. So it was her fortitude. But here's what happened. It wasn't her, but I had another student that I checked on all my students. I checked on all of them when I see them out in the street, function, what have you. Uh, catch them online. Hey, what's going on? But I happened to, um, I caught one of my students and I said, "Hey, little flower, um, you crossed my mind. Hope I think I said I hope you well." And the picture that was up on my page, I don't think you can see my face. I think you just the one that's up now. But I sent a picture of what I had on this. I had on said something that I was at a banquet, had my cigar, whatever, to let her know who it was so she could see my face. And the next thing I know, she made it seem like I was trying to holler at her. Uh, it seemed a little creepy, blah, blah, blah. She blasted my picture all out on the page. Hey, all the former Simeon students, look what he said, blah, blah, blah. So I got clowned real bad. I had some students call me and say, hey, look, she's saying so and such and such, we know that ain't you. I had students that didn't even know me. Oh, yeah, I always thought he was creepy and this, that, and you've never had a conversation with me, but you thought I was creepy because I didn't talk to you. Now, I wasn't going to give you some type of format or platform to say I didn't say something to you, but I know how delicate that is. But here's the part of what my point is that I inboxed a brother that I saw online from I think New York. He had a girls softball team, and these were some severely troubled girls. And I told him how I appreciated what he did. Uh, I know it was a difficult thing because it's very strange how you want men to be men. You want men to be uh, fathers. You want men to be daddies. You want me to take on somebody else's kids. You want me to be the husband to you and take on somebody else's kids and pay for them. And you won't even hold that clown accountable for his child support. And he's still alive. But when I do that for free, I didn't get paid a dime at Simeon. I didn't get a check. When I do it from my heart, and this particular student, see, I won't call her name out because she's grown. I won't call her name out, but I know somebody's showing her this, so she'll hear it. This, that, and other, because I even said it to her before. But I was very disappointed because when you didn't listen to me and you kept running and you got hit in your head and concussed, I went to the hospital with you. Your mama wasn't there. Could nobody be found? I went to the hospital with her. When you was coming to school in your pajamas and the students were laughing at you and you were in tears sitting next to me, I checked them because it could have been anybody. But now, since you chose this platform now, because now you just all the way gay now. You were bi when I knew you, but now you just all the way gay now. You, like you say, you proud LGBTQ, and that's fine. That's your choice. But see, you've had such a disconnect with men so long because you were dominant over the little boy that you was dealing with in high school. He was just put in your hands. But see, God is always going to keep me covered. I've been scratched by bigger kittens than you. And you can't slander me ever. Because the same way them students came on your page and checked you and said, Coach, look out, Coach, check on all of us. What you mean? You being a lame. And I just told her I appreciate that. But see, it's to all of the men. See, I got a friend going through something, and sometimes, things happen. You say too much, you don't say enough. But it's very strange. Whatever happened to when you could be concerned about someone and look out for someone? Everything isn't always that they want to do something to you, especially men. Well, you don't know, and sometimes, but see, that's when you have all of that. See, I don't do all of that doubting. I don't do all of that. See, I'm going to always give you all of my trust in the door. It's when you cross me that the trust starts to diminish. And now you have to build that back up. But a lot of us have been told, well, you got to earn trust and you got to earn respect. How? That's a lie. That is a lie. You didn't have to earn my trust to drive my car when you needed it. You didn't have to earn my trust to get that money you asked me for when your rent was short. And I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about people, period. You didn't have to earn my trust to buy you lunch. You didn't have to earn my trust to buy you dinner. You didn't have to earn my trust on a whole lot of things. We pick and choose when we want to be cynical. And that's what our problems are. We lie and we're phony. Because everything is about impressing someone. Everything is about impression. And that's why we have these problems that we do. I said that I will always apologize for making you feel uncomfortable because I tell the truth. And that's something that I do with people. They get very uncomfortable when I speak because I say things that strike nerves. And when you have that arrogance about you, because no one can tell you anything, you're the sharpest knife in the drawer. Your pride sets in because it's difficult, especially for men and women, to just say, you know what, I was wrong. My bad. Apologize. Oh man, that take a big man. No, it doesn't take a big man. That takes somebody with some character to say I apologize. What's wrong with that? For those of us who are old enough to know, because I'm done with that subject. For those of us who are old enough to know, I've noticed a lot of people have this uproar with, these cartoons and these, the things that want to show the gay life and what have you on television. And, a lot of soap operas, they have men on men now. And all of these things. But um, has anyone ever really paid attention that Peppermint Patty was gay from the Peanuts and Charlie Brown? Peppermint Patty was gay. That was her girlfriend. She called her sir. So Peppermint Patty was the stud. You know, there are a lot of things that go on in this world, and we have two options. We can accept them or we can reject them. But in rejecting them, you have no right to badmouth them. When you tell someone no, they don't have a right to slander you. And when you tell someone no, you don't have a right to slander them. But these are things that we do. Is that my Robin Johnson from North Carolina? I love you. I appreciate everything you ever done for me. I wish I knew where Dupree was, but it's good. Matter of fact, you've been my Facebook friend a minute. I guess we just don't talk. That's all it is. But um, hopefully you are well. Your babies. You had the first daughter that I knew that played football with the boys and dominated. Um, but I don't really, you know, I wanted to deal with a number of things, especially this accountability. You know, it. I'm having a real problem functioning in society where this stuff is one sided. You know, it's not everyone, but it's one sided. It's too much. There's too much justification, reason, and excuses made for why uh, you don't just own up. You want me to own it. You want me to own it when I'm a raggedy ass father. You want me to own it when I'm not taking care of my children. You want me to own it when I've put my hands on you. You want me to own it when uh, I'm not uh, keeping gainful employment. But that doesn't come from you. I was uh, at what point in time are we really equal? When is this, you and I? It's never really you and I. It's only you and I when we've discussed it and we've acted that out. I remember watching Kings of Queens, I believe. And the wife came in and said something to him about something that he bought. And he said, I bought this with my money. And she said, no, that's our money. We're a team. We're together. We're married. He said, okay, well, where were you at when I bought that ring? Because I didn't remember us being a team when that happened. There was no us when that happened. So, it's, I'll say it to the end of the grave or until I reach the grave, not the end of the grave. I love the black woman, all of her faults, all of her failures, all of her insecurities, all of her problems. I'm a firm believer that she would not be in that place had it not been for the black man. I want to say, if I remember, I was asked the question about, I said, the majority of the problems of the black woman were caused by the black man. And I think someone wanted me to elaborate on that. And so here's what I mean by that. By nature, she should be raised and trained to be a specific caliber and type of woman to be in place for a man to come PPI her and create more men and women. It's very, very difficult for a woman to do it by herself. She can do it by herself. I said it's very difficult. Oh, well, I did it and I made it. I said, who cares? And I mean that, who cares? It's always someone who wants to prove something. Well, here's where the part gets very difficult for you. There are women out here who've been doing it on their own a long time. Got their own homes that they pay for, their own cars that they pay for, jobs, and working and, doing the best that they can. And they have no time for some man who ain't got this, that, and the other. Right. Think what I said. He ain't got nothing. And they don't have time for many things. Well, in that whole thing, what's missed is if you have all of that and you meet a man who mentally has all of that, but financially he doesn't have it, you'll push him away. Versus showing that you know what being a rib is, covering him, and helping him meet what it is that he needs to meet to be who he needs to be with and for you. See, when you do that, you tell someone, you tell him, we can do this together. You have no idea what kind of drive it gives a man to know that someone appreciates him and is getting behind him to help him out. That's what needs to be. That's the disconnect that we have. Well, we got communication problems. How so? You both speak English. You have receptive communication problems. Nothing wrong with your communication. But that will always be because you're going by what people tell you and not teach you. That's why you're always apologizing for the things that go on out here in life, because you don't hold one another accountable for those things. There was a post that was up that spoke about, I think, something in reference to women not knowing how to treat a man. Yeah, that's what it was. I think something about women not knowing how to treat a man. I said that's because she had a ragged ass mama. If you don't know how to treat a man, it's because your mama was raggedy. If you don't believe me, I want you to think about how you treat men and then think about how your mama treated men. Now, if you treat men well and your mama didn't treat men worth nothing, you learned how to treat men well from another woman, because your only first guide is your mama. Your mama taught you and trained you how to do a lot of things. So you got men and women, men running up in and out of the house, maybe men and women, but you got men running in and out the house. That's why you fast at a young age. That's why you tatted all up and down your thighs and stomach in 9th grade. I watch kids come to school with the Soul Train outfits on. How you 13 with tattoo all up your thigh? Where your mama at? Then when your mama come for, parent meeting, I see why. So it goes the same way with men and how they treat women. Still, you have a raggedy father. And when you don't have a father around, you tend to treat women according to what you hear to be entertaining or what you've seen. And what you see on the television is a different type of format than what it really is. We are not depicted well in society because we choose not to be treated well. We choose not to treat well. It bothers me when you want to speak about the lack of respect and dignity for the black man and woman in America, yet you clowned Bill Cosby for the Cosby Show because you said that ain't authentic. So, two people with education who made a family that still have their mother and father and uh, living well is not authentic because you don't see any reason to live well. You don't see a purpose to live well. You know, I look at a lot of my I look at the I look at where I use Joseph Ward a lot of times and some of the things I talk about because I remember watching him in tears speak about where he came from, what he did, the amount of times he quit, the amount of times he came back, he started over, the toxic people he had around him, getting the people who were still with him, the people who gave him control of their financial lives and listened to what he had to say because he listened to someone else and it worked and it built money and income for them. And there were people who truly respected what he said. There were people who truly lived and loved what he said, but there were also people who were just using him to be paid. He knew it. I knew it. We speak on it, but uh, you could see right through them. Some people feel like the little money that they have, they doing it. That's why I love that song. I only saw maybe 30 seconds of the video of Living My Best Life, that song with Lil Duval and Snoop. But what's funny is a lot of people out here talking about they living their best life and they 2 months behind. Gas finna get cut off, all kind of stuff. That's always funny to me. We take different quotes and slogans and try to apply them to ourselves and our lives, and they have nothing to do with you because you have some type of fear about who you are. You have an issue with who you are. That's what bothers me about a lot of things that we do. You're not comfortable with you, so you hold other people accountable and you make excuses for why you don't like you. You'd rather be popular than proficient. You'd rather be liked than respected. You'd rather be accepted than respected. It's rough. I can stand alone. I like me. No one else has to like me. That's just a pitiful situation. So um, I I want to know. I wanted to know. Uh, I've never asked anyone. While we're talking. Just for the. I guess I still have 6 viewers. I never asked anyone. If anyone had anything they wanted to say. Questions. Any questions, comments, or concerns. Tisa, I hope you're well. Let me scroll back through here and see my nephew JT. I love you, sir. Robert Clark, Leon Samuels, Kim Gordon, Jermaine Fulton, Robin Kimon, Ice Mike, Kennard Johnson. Kennard, let me see if you're still watching. No, you're not. No, you're not. Kennard, I'm gonna call you because I said I wasn't gonna. I'm gonna call you. I know you're not seeing it, but I'm gonna call. I'm glad you're on there. I'm gonna call you. Stephanie Ivy, Mary Dressing Thomas. And I ain't talking about blue cheese or clothes. I'm talking about that turkey dressing. Walk with me, Jesus. Andrea McSwain. Lamar, only one way to do it, ready. Brian Pearson, Kevin Beal, Dean Davis, Tamari, Oluwatoyin Elmo Olabisi, Felice Hester, Minnie Cheney, Tony Perham, Pam, I'm running from Chris Pinky, Extra Black Fred Stevens. Now, you say, okay, can I say more about the impairment of parenting and its potential impact on adulthood? The impairment of parenting. It is a known fact that you can get a lot better development with two parents than you can with one. But it doesn't mean that they will be better with two. It doesn't mean they will be worse with one. Your parents are your guides. Your mother is your first guide of instruction. And when the parents see, it is I spoke on this about Trayvon Martin. I'm good, Tyree. I spoke on this about Trayvon Martin that we never really dealt with. Let's forget about the crime, Zimmerman, all of that. It is a very difficult situation when your mama tell you, I'm finna send you to your daddy. When your mama give up on you, you can't do anything about that. So I don't doubt that Trayvon was a problem. It's just what happened never should have happened. And so when your mother uses you, turns on you, betrays you, is not that guiding force of protecting you, you start to put up a serious metal type veil on trust. It's almost like a reciprocation of a different level when you get abused by men. So now, instead of you just flipping and abusing men the same way, you use them. You sell them dreams and you lie to them, or you just get what you can out of them because you've been hurt before. But what can you do when your mother turns on you? You know, it's difficult when you've been you use school and your job as a mask to hide the pain you have at home, and you want to be so successful, and when you become so successful, you would hope that people like you more because of it, to make you feel better about yourself. This is what people miss when I'm always saying the words about makeup. Makeup is giving me the impression that you look like something that you don't. Well, what does a lie do? it gives you the impression that the situation looks like something that it doesn't. Well, you a liar. Okay, you've been wearing makeup all your life. You a liar too. No one ever pays attention to that. Or maybe that's a little too rough for people to accept. But you tell the truth and shame the devil. Well, makeup isn't just an enhancement. Yeah, well, that lie I told you was an enhancement. I told you I had a car. It was just in the shop. I told you I had my own place, but my mama was staying there. I told you I wasn't married. I told you I didn't have no kids. It's a lie. It's makeup. It it is what it is. But you don't want to accept that. It's when your parents, the last I tell youth all the time, uh, when your parents, when your mama cuts you off, it's a wrap. I said when the smoke clears and mama's there, you feel good. We look at best football games. Hi mom, hi mom and dad. It look at the proudness. Arkansas's quarterback, Tua. Look at the proudness his mother and father had wearing their Samoan garb. You don't put nothing on look African till February. And then it's the dashiki you bought from the Chinese store. But there's a there's a there's a there's a bad disconnect that we have with uh, parents. And see, you can tell a lot about what people experience and have experienced just by the conversations they hold and how they talk. You know, I've watched people be very disrespectful to other people, but won't tolerate it themselves. Always mumbling. And and when you say something to them, they act as if you're wrong, but yet you can't do that to them. That's hypocrisy in its full context. But see, that also comes from when you don't have any types of healthy relationships out in the streets with people, with jobs. You upset on your job, you upset at home, so you can't come here. You can't come to an organization. You can't come to a function and be in charge. It's just painful, and sometimes people are just too far gone. They're too far gone to deal with it. They're too far gone to accept it. They're too far gone for reconstruction. People do not like reconstruction. We talk that change stuff all the time. You talk that difference. You talk that unity, that brother and sisterhood lie all the time. We're one, strong, and you're a liar. I mean, I can, I don't have to point it out. I could just look at it. I can just look at it. I used to say a lot of times in the organization, everyone's in love with one another and want all unyielding and undying support until the last 2 months before election. That's just always been funny to me, But uh, it's something to where when you don't when you don't allow yourself when you don't allow yourself the ability to be coached. That's one thing I loved about certain topics and certain things I always said. You know, when I call the man coach, it's because I've allowed him to be able to take what's in me and develop the best in me and bring it out. You see people that have something in them, but the larceny that you have in your heart, you don't want them to pull it out. So you want to take them and run them through hoops. And this is why you fail. This is why you fail. Um, a couple of days ago, uh, I lost a friend of mine. Um, we parted on bad terms. I just never discussed it with him. He just didn't think I knew. He was a good brother. He was a man. And military world lost a good man. Staff Sergeant Eugenio Ruiz. He worked at Carver High School back in the, uh, I'll say the clothing area. You know, he used to outfit the um, the students, the cadets, and what have you. Um, I was told he had a heart attack. Um, some other things that I want to deal with on that, but um, I won't. But I'm not hurting. You know, it's just it's the the death angel has been hitting hard, and many people never really knew this about me. Um, I excuse me. I am never. Hey, brother Hadley. Happy holidays to you too. I am not a fan of funerals and hospitals. I'm extremely uncomfortable in both of them. I don't like them. Um, I don't like being there. And so that's a lot of why I don't make myself available. It has to be something that I just could not get away from for me to be there. Um, but I don't, I don't like them. And, but, um, he was a good brother. I don't like, uh, his passing. I would love for everyone to get all of their years out, the best way that they can. But, uh, I don't know the details. For those of you who were at St. James Grand Lodge, who knew him in Genesis 33, I'll get the details to you. Uh, Brother Reynard Bates called me, and he told me that they're at our service, what have you, whatever we need. But at any rate, I'll leave it up to his master and what have you, and whoever's dealing with it. But um, yes, he's passed on, and so uh, Ernest Nigeria Davies. I hope you are well, sir. Um, Not still bedridden. I hope you're on your feet, enjoying your life. You and your lady. I missed you when I came down. Hopefully, I'll see you again, unless I come early and I have Troy bring me to wherever you are. I really don't expect you to be in the hospital next year, but um, you know what I mean. I may just call you tomorrow. I should remember, but I'll call you tomorrow. I called you when you were in the hospital, and I didn't get an answer, but I'll call you tomorrow, brother. Um, so I want to take this time to let my friend know, Weston Jarvis in Houston, Texas, that I have two custom, one of a kind CDs with Michael Jackson and the Jacksons on them. And I have been listening to them a lot. You haven't. And it is a mix. And maybe I'll bring it down there to you, or maybe I'll let you hear it over the phone if I got a signal, if my minutes are not low. Seeing as how you the second greatest Michael Jackson fan alive behind myself. I just wanted to put that shameless plug out there for you. It is 5 minutes past the hour. Before I go, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? I was offering an email bag that I will answer all the time. If anyone would like to send in from Candid Talk Radio to my email bag, it will be confidential, of course. The answers will be given from the best of my ability to help you from a straightforward perspective. I don't like mincing my words. I don't like chewing my cabbage twice. I don't like to play games, especially with something that you just need to have a little bit of decorum to get done. Something, I'm sitting here, the television is actually in front of me, and I remember when Roseanne's show was coming back out, and Roseanne got fly out her mouth, and they canceled the show, and that cut off a lot of other people's money. But because a lot of people wanted to see the show, they put the show back on television and just killed Roseanne off. I tell you, boy, people are cold. People are cold. But you know, I want to leave with this, and it's dealing with us as a people. We've had these discussions before, but I need to be very, very clear about something in regards to our survival, so to speak. We are in a very serious DEFCON 5 state of emergency as a people. We have been naturalized to the point that we don't want any more for ourselves than what people allow us to have. We want to live through everyone else's life other than making a life for ourselves. We want to deal in the trends versus setting trends. Sometimes the greatest flattery that you can have for a person is to mimic them. But why not take something about them and put it into your lifestyle? I wear these glasses on my face because they look good. Ain't nothing wrong with my eyes. I wear my face smooth because it's a lot easier for me to keep a bald face than it is for me to keep manicuring a beard, and itching and scratching and look and all this other stuff to give an accessory. I was born with a bald face. So how did it all of a sudden become the gay look when I have seen people with long beards that like penis? So, we always have some type of narrative that people want to put out there to be what they want it to be, and it's just funny to me. And you really won't get it until you get a lot older because like I say, your tolerance level starts to decrease for monkey ball. So I don't want to start rambling. For anyone who would like to send an email to myself, my email address is sgig That's Samuel Glue Igloo Glue. S Golf Igloo Goof. SGIG, the number 33, underscore IL, as in Illinois, IL at hotmail.com. SGIG 33 underscore IL at hotmail.com. All of my emails come to my phone. I answer any of my emails. I answer my phone. My Facebook page is what it is. It has my name, Christopher M. Jackson. Underneath it, it says Akelo Johnny. It should have a picture of me. Yes, I believe it does have a picture of me poofing on a stogie. And so, with that being said, I'm uh, I'm signing off until the next time. Thank you all for listening. Good evening.